Welcome to Football Origins. Today we'll find out how for one European football powerhouse, winning their first World Cup was also about winning back their sense of national pride. Football is the most popular British exports of them all. Here at the Far Out, we're going to have a look at why most Commonwealth countries, such as our own, have failed to qualify, let alone leave a mark at the biggest tournaments of them all, the FIFA World Cup. We will do that by deep diving into the footballing history of few powerhouses of the football world. None among them are part of the Commonwealth, few among them were colonial powers in their own right. We'll talk about how it all began, under what circumstances football was introduced in those countries, and how for most among them, one other sport was the centerpiece of it all. In the process, we'll get some insights on what were the key elements that contributed to the sport's popularity in these countries, as well as what was the watershed moment, and most importantly, what can India learn from them moving forward. Today, the country that we're going to talk about, the football team, is known for its relentless attacking style and robust defense. They go by the name of Die Mannschaft. This is Germany. We have made a summary under which circumstances football was introduced in the country, and we would need to go right back at the beginning of the 19th century. You will eventually find out why. So let's get right into it with our key element Nummer 1, post-Napoleonic era. Napoleon's mark on history, especially that of 19th century Europe, cannot be denied. During the Napoleonic War, France directly conquered or controlled through alliance most of Western Europe by year 1812. After his defeat in 1815 at Waterloo, European monarchs got to work restoring Europe to its traditional balance and restoring their dominance. But after Napoleon had spread the influence of the French Revolution, these returning monarchs would have a difficult time regaining their absolute control. Reaction to Napoleon's rule in places like Germany and Italy propelled forward the ideas of modern unity and nationalism. Which brings to our key element Nummer 2, unification of Germany. This is the map of Europe after Napoleon's defeat in 1815. There was a cluster of predominantly German-speaking sovereign states in Central Europe, but there was no Germany. Not yet. The German Confederation was created in the same year, which was an association of 39 German-speaking sovereign states. Prussia in the north and Austria in the south were the two largest kingdoms in the Confederation, with each having territories inside as well as outside the Confederation. As time went on, a rivalry started to develop between Kingdom of Prussia and Kingdom of Austria. Traditionally, Austria was a dominant German state, but after 1850, Prussia gained more power as the Confederation was weakened by revolutions and the rivalry between these two countries. In the 1860s, Otto von Bismarck, who was then Minister President of Prussia, provoked 3 short, decisive wars against Denmark, Austria, and France. All these countries saw Prussia as a threat. He aligned the smaller German states behind Prussia to defeat France. Bismarck used both diplomacy and the Prussian military to achieve unification, excluding Austria from a unified Germany. In 1871, he unified Germany into a nation-state, forming the German Empire. This brings to our key element Nummer 3, the Industrial Revolution. Partly due to the chaos of the French Revolution and Napoleonic Wars, the Industrial Revolution in Germany began about a century later than it did in England. Before 1850, Germany lagged behind the leaders in industrial development, which were United Kingdom, France, and Belgium. However, the country had considerable assets such as a highly skilled labor force and a strong work ethic. Slowly but surely, Germany made significant progress in the following years. In 1870, with the unification of Germany, many major industries were founded that led to a full-fledged industrialization of Germany. This saw a surge in foreign workers moving to Germany, notably from England. Many among them worked in Dresden, which was the capital of Kingdom of Saxony in the German Empire. The Dresden Football Club was founded in 1874 and was the first football club in Germany, probably the first in continental Europe. Over 70 members participated, primarily Englishmen who played in the first season, watched by hundreds of spectators. Football reached Germany relatively early, so early in fact that the English were not yet done with finalizing the various codes of modern day football. Confusion over the actual rules of football was widespread in Germany. Having said that, unlike introduction of football in Latin America, the local German population was never not allowed to play football. White privilege. However, during these initial stages, Germans faced a plethora of complications like finding boots and footballs to practice football. The greatest challenge was to find a place to play. With the wave of nationalism that had gripped the region after the unification of Germany, the Germans didn't want people to play football. Football was regarded as un-German and a British disease. Those who played football were scorned and harassed by the German public. The ones practicing were termed as kicking traitors to the fatherland. Little did this generation know football would turn out to be such a big affair in the country in the coming years. In the end, military parade grounds, which were spacious and unused on Sundays, are where the earliest football games took place. Despite opposition to the game, league games slowly began to crop up around the country, one of the most notable among them in Berlin. By 1890, there were several association football clubs founded across Germany, as compared to France, which had none at that stage. Regardless, English influence proved to be the main reason for football's establishment in Germany. For example, in 1896, a team from Duisburg went to England to play 4 games, which due to a large number of goals considered was somewhat a disaster. While in 1899, a squad of English professional players toured Germany, beating every team emphatically in the process. This brings to our key element number Wehr. The Germans finally give in to football. On 20th of January 1900, 86 clubs from the German-speaking areas in the region came together in Leipzig to form a national association, the German Football Association, the famous Deutscher Fußballbund, which we see on the German kit today. This association permitted teams from outside the country, such as Prague, a team from erstwhile Austria-Hungary, in their new championship. Once the DFB joined FIFA in 1905, clubs from outside the country were no longer allowed to play in Germany. During the period 1904 to 1944, teams played for the Victoria Championship trophy. Needless to say, the championship was interrupted by World War I between 1914 and 1918, and again at the end of the Second World War between 1944 and 1946 after Germany's defeat. Under the Third Reich, most sports and football associations were disbanded or replaced by Nazi-sponsored organizations. To join a DFB club, a player required recommendations from 2 non-Marxists to be permitted to play. The DFB gradually lost its independence as it was assimilated into the Reich Committee for Physical Education. As ordered by the regime and as in most of German society at the time, football teams took part in the purge of Jews from their organizations. However, a few clubs took a stand to support or protect their members in the face of these actions. One club among them was Bayern Munich. Needless to say, under the Third Reich, football was only the means to spread propaganda. After the Second World War, football was only played in semi-professional domestic leagues across Germany. As a result of this, Germany's best players opted to play in professional leagues in other countries. Yes, all that changed once Bundesliga came along in 1963. This brings to a key element number 5, the German national team journey. 8 years after the establishment of the German Football Association DFB in 1900 and 3 years after it joined FIFA, the first official match played by the German national team was in April 1908 against Switzerland. Coincidentally, Germany's first match after World War I in 1920, the first match after World War II in 1950, and the first match after the Berlin Wall fell with former East German players were all against Switzerland. The national team's home kit has always been a white shirt, black shorts and white socks. The colors are derived from the 19th century flag of the North German state of Prussia. The German national team's first championship title was also, you guessed it right, won in Switzerland, which we will talk about soon. In 1930, the German Football Association could not afford to travel to Uruguay for the first World Cup, which coincided with the Great Depression. But in the next edition in 1934, they finished third in their first appearance in the competition. Excluding the 1930 and 1950 tournaments in which they did not compete, Germany's exit in the round of 16 in 1938 edition stood as Germany's worst ever World Cup result up until 4 years ago in 2018. They have appeared in all other World Cups and advanced to the final 8 or better. Moreover, they have played in 8 finals, the most among any team, even Brazil. After the Second World War, Germany was banned from competition in most sports until about 1950, with none of the 3 new German states, West Germany, East Germany and Saarland, entering the 1950 World Cup qualifiers. The DFB was only reinstated as full FIFA member after this World Cup. Saarland was a French protectorate partitioned from Germany after its defeat in World War II. By the time it was unified with West Germany in 1957, Saarland had failed to qualify, let alone win a major competition. East Germany, on the other hand, won the gold medal during the 1976 Olympics in Montreal. It had its own football association and national football competition, whereas West Germany was the most successful among the 3 German states, winning 3 World Cups in 1954, 1974 and 1990, along with 2 European Championships in 1972 and 1982. Moreover, the 1974 World Cup win came at home, where Franz Beckenbauer led West Germany to victory in the final against the inspired Dutch, the total football and a certain Johan Cruyff who was at the peak of his powers. After the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and German reunification in 1990, the Eastern football competition was reintegrated into the DFB. Post-reunification, Germany has won one European Championship and one World Cup each. Every German football fan would tell you the international watershed moment for the team came in 1954, the World Cup in Switzerland. More precisely, the final, a game which is now popularly known as the Miracle of Bern. Germany, or West Germany, was playing its first World Cup final against a highly fancied Hungarian team. Just to put things in context, going into the final, the Hungarian team, or the mighty Magyars, were undefeated for 32 straight games. The Hungarians were undoubtedly the favourites, with the likes of the legendary Ferenc Puskás in its ranks. Moreover, they had already beaten West Germany 8-3 in the group stages. Within the first 10 minutes, Hungary was already leading 2-0. However, West Germany came back quickly, scoring 2 to level the score. 4 goals scored in the first 20 minutes itself. With both the teams in deadlock, the match was now being played in heavy rain, giving a tactical advantage to the Germans. The German team was equipped with boots supplied by Adidas that featured, at the time, unknown exchangeable screw-in studs. The boots could be adapted to any weather, enabling the German players to wear their regular footwear despite the adverse conditions. This meant the West German team could hold off the relentless Hungarian attack during the remainder of the game. With 6 minutes of regulation time remaining at the other end, West Germany was presented an opportunity, which they converted with Helmut Rahn scoring the winner. This victory was unexpected, to say the least. It evoked a wave of euphoria throughout Germany, which suffered from a lack of international recognition in the aftermath of World War II, and where expressions of national pride were still tainted with the recent past. Many agree that the 1954 victory laid the foundation of a Federal Republic of Germany, which we all know saw the day 36 years later. This World Cup final was also the first time since the Second World War that the German national anthem was played at a global sporting event. It was Adolf Dassler, who is better known as Adi Dassler, the founder of Adidas, who introduced screw-in studs, which gave the German team a tangible advantage during this final. Whether Adi Dassler was the first to come up with the screw-in studs is disputed by his older brother, Rudolf Dassler, who is the founder of Puma. All in the family. Despite political turmoil in the country throughout the 20th century, football in Germany never ceased to captivate the masses. From their 4 World Cup wins to their unmatched consistency over the years at every continental or global tournament, Germany is a true powerhouse of the football world. So that wraps up this segment. Hope you liked it. We are not going to talk much about the recent history as it's already part of football folklore and you guys definitely know more about it than we do. Do you reckon Germany could add a 5th star here this December in Qatar? Let us know in the comments below if you missed out on something about German football that we couldn't cram in this video. We are going to talk about one footballing powerhouse every episode, deep diving into their footballing history, learn about how football became so popular over there, and what India can do to replicate their success one day at the world stage.